For Reaper Metal Productions, I am Adam of Unbaptized Records here to make a brand new video for you today. And today I'm doing something a little different. I'm not going to be doing my usual show and tell, but I'm actually going to be talking more about things that come in LPs, CDs, box sets, usually for free or as part of a set, so like metal swag. And I'm going to go over a few things that I see in a lot of metal releases and let you know what I do with them, what I think of them, and I want to see what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you do with the things that you get for free. If you like some of them, you think some of them are a nuisance. Maybe you just like getting your LP with the black wax and an insert and the cover art, and that's it. You don't need any extras. You think it's all unnecessary. So let me know what you think in the comments. But I'm going to go through a short list of a couple of things that tend to come in box sets or standard with LPs or shipping material, and then a few less standard things. So again, let me know what you think in the comments, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. So first on the list for me are posters. Kind of an obvious one, pretty standard, going back probably as early as vinyls were. I like the idea of posters. The problem is they're obviously fairly large in size usually, and there's only so much room for them. So if I like the album art, a poster is cool, but honestly, it's probably going to be too much because I'm not going to have enough space, especially if I like a lot of different album art. I can only put so many posters, and especially if you get the really large ones, maybe like the 2 by 3 foot that are almost the size of a banner, you can't put too many of those in any small space or even larger spaces, especially if you're one of those people that likes to put maybe your picture discs up on the wall, or you just have a wall full of CDs and LPs anyways because your shelf is huge in order to fit your collection. You don't really care about using any space because you basically don't have any left. So I think the idea of a poster is cool, but I actually kind of like the smaller posters and maybe something with alternative artwork, or maybe the band posing in front of some scene that maybe they would have used from that era of the tour or something. So if you get the poster and the LP, and maybe you get the LP signed, you can get the poster signed too if it has all the band members. But other than that, I think it's a good idea, but it's just not practical. I usually don't have the space for them. So pretty standard. I know a decent amount of LPs because it's an easy fit. We'll put them in there. It's fine, but it doesn't really do much for me just given the size. There's just not enough space to put too many posters. Now, this is something I do like, and that's stickers. So it does not have to be the album art. It could be the logo of the band. It could be the label. It could be just some art from the band. It could be almost anything. I love stickers. I have them all over my apartment. I have them on my car. I have them on my truck. I have them on all of my bookshelves. I make some of them my own. Obviously, you know, if you're familiar with Justin Horville's channel, J Dog, then you know he has plenty of channel stickers. Those are all mine that I made just because I like them. They're small. They're easy to hand out to people. I like to hand them out in orders. If I sell stuff myself, when I start doing the label, I'm definitely going to be putting out my own stickers. I just like it because it's small, it's convenient, they can go anywhere, and they're cheap. You can do them really nice quality that they're cut to make them actually, you know, the shape of whatever the logo is, or you can just have them plain like the ones I do, the cheap plain ones. They're just a square, or, you know, maybe bumper sticker size, so like a 3 by 10, 3 by 11. I love stickers. The more the merrier. Small, big, whatever. I'm going to use them for almost anything, and then the more copies, the better, because then I could keep at least one, put them on bookshelves, put them wherever, hand them out. I love stickers. I don't think I could ever have enough of them. On the other hand, flyers, especially when you get a bunch for free, because obviously whatever label is putting out the music, they're trying to sell their other music. It's interesting to me. I do tend to keep all of them. I do like to keep almost anything I'm given, but I rarely ever look at them. I don't personally feel like flyers work for me. I like when people show off a record or a CD in a video, kind of like when I do. That's kind of why I do it. I was inspired by people showing off their CDs and records on camera, so that's the same kind of reason I do it, is because there's so many bands and albums I've discovered from that. I just want to kind of pay that forward and let people know what I'm listening to. But if I look at something that's just in a little flyer, I'll kind of see it. I go, okay, whatever. Usually just put it away. So I'll keep it. It's just kind of there. I collect it. Maybe I'll look at it sometime, but I don't really look at it. I don't think I've ever bought something that was on a flyer. The only things I see that I'll buy that aren't from videos will be like newsletters. So whether it's an email or it's something on maybe social media like Instagram, a label or a band will show what recent presses they have. I'll get something there. It's really rare. I don't think I've ever bought something from a flyer. So they don't really work for me. They're interesting, but I don't necessarily need them. Next, I would say things like buttons and pins. Those usually don't come for free because they're a little more expensive, especially the enamel pins. Those are usually 10 or 12 bucks, pretty much the same price as the CD. I do have a small collection of band enamel pins, but not many because I like them, but they're also kind of small and easy to lose. So with my battle vest, I have very few pins or buttons on there because they tend to fall off. So I usually leave them on sort of like cork board in the bedroom, just kind of sitting there. The buttons on one of them, the pins on the other. I collect them. I have them. They're cool, but I don't go out of my way to necessarily grab them. If they look really cool, if it's an album art I like or something, or maybe a character from one of the bands, then I'll usually grab them. But it's sort of few and far between. And then if they come with an album and a box set, then that's great. That's fine. But same with buttons, because even though they're cheaper, they also tend not to stay on my vest. That's why I just would rather sew stuff on. I have a few, some small, some medium, whether they're labels or bands. They're cool, but again, kind of same situation where they don't necessarily stay on the vest. So they usually just kind of sit there on the corkboard. They're fine, but it's not something I go out of my way to grab too often. Once in a while, there might be a set of buttons I'll grab for a band. Kind of the similar thing with picks too. I'll sometimes grab them, but for me, especially a guitar pick, that's the kind of thing that unless you're a guitar player or you play bass and use a pick, the only time I ever usually have those from bands is if I grab them off the stage or off the ground, or if they get thrown into the crowd and I catch one. That's really the only time I ever grab one. I don't like to buy the sets of them. I have 2 or 3 of them I can think of off the top of my head. So I know Kvlt released a set of their picks from Terrasite, the last album to come out. And Exhumed also had a set of like 4 or 5 of them. I think I bought that pack too. That's sort of an add-on last minute thing for my favorite bands, and that's about it. But don't normally grab those again unless they're for free. I just find them at a concert. That kind of goes the same with posters or set lists. I can't even ever imagine buying a set list or a poster after a concert. I can't imagine too many people do that unless they're just a collector of that specifically, and I'm sure they're few and far between. But if I'm at a show and I see it, or at a venue and I know that the event's over, it's just kind of a thing to grab to maybe get signed by the band, especially if they're maybe a smaller band or they're newer and they don't have merch yet. I've done that a few times with some local bands that either they had merch, I bought it already, had them sign it, or they didn't have merch, or they did, but all the members weren't on it because, again, maybe a newer local band. So I got the set list, had them sign it, commemorated that specific event, but it's nothing I would ever buy. It's just something I have, and I don't have too many copies either. Kind of the same goes with tickets. I hate digital tickets. I would much rather try to print one out. So if I can either get the physical ticket, I don't have very many stubs from shows. It's usually the full paper ticket with a little scanning like QR code on it. If I have some of those, I'll keep those as well. But few and far between. I think even though I don't like them, most of my tickets tend to be digital. So I just kind of go with that. And then there's some random things, and this is where I'd love to see people in the comments. Let me know what's some of the most random things you've gotten as swag from bands. Doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It's just something you wouldn't necessarily expect. So I have a few beer cozies, so like stuff like that. I can't even really think of anything. I mean, just something that you wouldn't necessarily expect a band to throw their name on or throw their logo on. I guess when COVID was around, people were putting their logos on masks and stuff. I never ended up getting into those because I think that's kind of dumb. I mean, I didn't think it would last that long, people wearing masks. So why am I going to spend $15 to have a band logo on a mask that's not going to be useful in a year from now or whatever? Or hey, if you're one of those people that never wore a mask, then you're definitely not going to buy it. So hats, same thing. I mean, my head's, I guess, just too freaking big for hats. I don't really wear them. Don't really care about that kind of stuff. Same with like bags and stuff. I mean, if it comes totally for free, like when I saw Exhumed and there was the meet and greet, they had a bag with the logo of like the chainsaw that Matt Harvey drew up for the tour on the bag. Again, it was free. It came with the swag pack. Same with those lanyards and the little VIP things. I have a few of those, but I would never go out of my way to necessarily like collect them. It's sort of like to me, a VIP is you get some time with the band to have them sign stuff, maybe a photo op. The free stuff that comes with those packages for an extra 50, $60, I don't really care about that stuff. To me, it's just something that's going to take up more space. The only thing that's really of value to me is like a meet and greet where you can have the band sign something and it's like an exclusive and you know you're going to meet the band. You know you're going to get someone to some time to get stuff signed. That's really the only time I care about VIP packages. But I could probably make a whole video on that. I'd be curious what people think. And then I think last but not least, and this is a big deal, especially the last 10 years or so, but digital download codes. The small little paper ones, I hate them. I rarely use them. I have probably 50 of them just sitting somewhere. If it was bands that people on here actually liked, I could probably just, I don't even know, take a bunch of pictures of them, upload them to Instagram, or even just take a video of them or something, let people use them because they're just sitting there. Plus, some of them are like, I bought the LPs of the early Metallica records. Like, who doesn't have Ride the Lightning at this point? You know, who needs the digital download code for that? You can buy the CD for $5 and the LP is readily available. It's been being pressed since the album came out. So I don't think too many people need that. It's a good idea for more of the rare records, but I don't really need them. And I have a ton and they just kind of take up space. But I will say the ones I do like, I really like how Metal Blade Records does their digital download codes, because what they do is they're on these little cards that are kind of like a 3x3 card. And on one side is the digital download code, and on the other side is the album art. So at the least, you have a whole bunch of little 3x3 or 2x2 cards, whatever they are, with the album art. So now, if you have a bunch of bands that you like, let's say you bought the whole Cannibal Corpse catalog on vinyl, then you have 15 or 16 albums with the album art. And now you have a little collectible thing. You could, I'm kind of creative with this kind of stuff. I'd almost rather make my own art for the wall. So what I could do is maybe take a bunch of them, make a collage out of them. Maybe write down the codes if you really want to, or take a picture and use them, or send them to people to use so they don't get wasted. But then you love Wes Benscotter art, or you love Vincent Locke art from Cannibal Corpse, and you want to put it up on the wall, but you don't want to throw an LP on the wall, unless you have picture discs. Then you can take a bunch of those, put them in a cheap frame. There you go. You have some art. Rather than having a poster. I mean, that's a cool idea. I don't know. Maybe bands could think that, especially bands of the caliber of like the Vaders and Deicides and Cannibal Corpse. Why not have, I mean, maybe this is too goofy. I don't know. Again, tell me what you think in the comments. I think this is a pretty good idea. Why don't bands that have a huge discography have album art compilations? Like, instead of a poster, let's say you're going to do the best of, which is kind of weird for a band like that, but I guess you could. Like a best of LP or a live LP. I mean, Cannibal Corpse is due. Say Deicide is due. What if for the next album that they do, and it's a live album, then they do a compilation of all the art as a poster instead of a poster of, the crowd? Who cares about the crowd there? Like, do something like that instead. That's original. That's pretty different. That's what I would like to see. So I don't know, maybe that can get done. But hey, in that case, when you want art and it doesn't exist, then you have to create it yourself. So that's a way to create it. The way I just said, you take all those digital download code things that they hand out. It's better than the stupid little piece of paper. It's got the art on it. Make a collage out of it and put that up on your wall. So there you go. That's an idea. That's something I thought of. I haven't done it because I have a small apartment, don't really have the space for it, but I do have all those digital download cards. So that's something I could probably do in the future. So let me know what you think. Let me know some of the weirdest swag you've got. And again, let me know some of the stuff you like, some of the stuff you hate. And if you have any other ideas of swag that maybe you'd like to see bands or labels hand out, let me know in the comments.